ArtsyGamer7 and welcome back to another Create-A-Sim video on my channel. So this is sort of a random Create-A-Sim video, but if you've been watching and you've watched the How Many Babies challenge, I have finished that challenge. I am wanting to introduce like another like little small short challenge. So I was looking into some challenges or trying to come up with my own. A lot of them that I have actually been working on some other challenges just to try to play myself, but a lot of them end up being like, I'm more leaning towards a legacy challenge sort of situation, or it would be one that I know that would take a really, potentially a longer time than I'm wanting like a smaller one that maybe is only going to take like anywhere from 10 to 20 episodes sort of deal is what I'm looking for this series, 25 at the most. So like a very small, short series. And randomly while at work, when I had some downtime, right before my lunch, I sort of came up with this random idea. And some of my challenges and ideas, I may have not been able to find them while looking, but may have something out there similar. But I'm making these rules up as I go, so if it's something that seems similar, feel free to let me know. But anyway, from what I've seen, I didn't see one out there, but I am making one. This challenge I'm sort of doing is, I'm calling it Random Life Challenge. I'm still working out some of the details, but I did go ahead and create the sim because I am excited to try this video, and you may notice that my custom content looks a little different. I decided I'm going to try this series as a Maxis match only, which was very weird for me, so creating the sim was a strange experience. Because the thing is like, I don't mind Maxis match. The hair is the biggest thing. I love alpha hair. As far as clothes and objects, I've always had the state of mind of like, clothing and furniture and like objects, things like that, come in so many different fabrics, materials, even like the paints that you use for furniture and stuff are going to really affect how it looks. So you can have some stuff look super matte and super almost not 3D because it's so matte or whatever, and or like softer, or you can have stuff that makes it like super shiny and looks like very hard edged, and even if it's not necessarily, like, there's just so many materials and textures, and even like the colors themselves sometimes can change things. Versus hair, yes, there are obviously multiple colors, there are multiple textures, but for hair there's not as a variety as it is material, in my opinion. Well, not really my opinion, just realistically it's not. But there are different textures of hair, but at the same time it still visually somewhat looks similar. Like, you look at it and like, oh, that's hair, or that's something very similar to hair situation. Versus plastic versus glass versus metal versus wood is not gonna look the same. And then if you put a coat of gloss paint or matte paint over the same thing, it's going to look different. So I think when it comes to clothing and objects especially, I have a mixture of alpha and CC in my main save file, or what would be considered alpha versus Maxis match CC. When it comes to those things, I never really paid attention, but when it came to the hair, I always like the custom content hair more. But I decided that I was going to maybe every once in a while just throw a little oddball in there and actually try to do some Maxis match. So I have a separate folder that is just Maxis match, and I tried to keep with just Maxis match, or what I was pretty sure was Maxis match, the best I could, even when it came to furniture and clothing. But I did at least want to have some CC because I like more options, and honestly some of the Maxis match's hair sometimes looks really cute, though I feel like I had a hard time styling it or making it look the way that sometimes I see people do photos with. Obviously I know sometimes they're putting them through rendering software to make the picture look a little bit better, but at the same time I'm like, man, it doesn't even look close. But anyway, that's just my opinion. So creating this sim was strange and a little bit of a weird experience for me in some ways. Because I was like, especially the hair. Like, I played around with the hair, but I did find quite a few decent hair options for Maxis match. And I also even found ways where I can add gradients on it, and you'll probably see me playing with that. And originally I was going to maybe give her different hairstyles for different looks, because that is the one thing I will say when it comes to Maxis match. It is a little bit easier to give them different hairstyles for different looks, versus if you try to do it with CC hair, depending on the creator that you get the hair from, depends on sometimes what the colors look like. The blondes are not always going to look like the same type of blondes, and the brunettes are not going to look like the same brunettes. If you get a hair color that is a colored hair color, so it's like a non-natural color, or it's like has multiple colors in it, the chances of you finding a hair down in like a ponytail that has that same type of color pattern is a little bit harder. Obviously, if you get it from the same CC creator, it increases your chance, but even then, CC creators have evolved over time and they change their hair color sometimes, so it's not the easiest with alpha hair to always get those colors to match perfectly when you change their hairstyles. And it's a little bit harder to do, so I don't do it as often. And I was going to try to do it with her, but then when I added the gradient onto her hair, the gradients don't work with every hairstyle, so I'm like, I ended up sticking with the same hairstyle for her for now. I might change that eventually, but yeah, anyway. We'll see how that goes. But yeah, as far as the challenge that I'm going to be doing, I'll sort of go over briefly some of the rules that I've been working on, because like I said, I'm still sort of working out the kinks right now with this, but basically, the main drift about it is that I'm going to have a certain set of goals that I have to try to complete before she's an elder, or certain rules that I have to follow or not, not do or do while I'm playing the challenge. But, and this can be done however, if you ever want to try something like this yourself, you can do it however you want. You can write them on pieces of paper and fold them up and put them in like a bucket or a cup or a pot, whatever you got. Or you can write them all down and pick like a random number generator. You could roll some dice if you got some dice. You can get up, there's like, I use like some wheels and stuff that are on the internet where you can fill them out. You could do whatever. I think I'm personally going to go the dice route just because I like clinky, clicky, pretty dices. But I think I'm going to go the dice route personally. But every day you have to roll the dice and see what might change and be random in that Sim's life. AKA, some of the things that I'm going to put in there is like, start a new career. So if I roll that number, then she's going to have to start a new career that day. No matter how much progression I have in that career, she's going to have to start a new career. Or I'm also going to put the quit job in there, which means she can't start a new career. She's just got to quit her current one, and hopefully you make it work somehow. I'm not going to count like odd jobs and stuff like that, but any of them that are like the part-time job or the full job, time job, those will count. Anything that, is a daily, like, they go to more than like 1 or 2 days and you don't have to go in, like odd jobs, you have to select it for that day or whatever. So I'm not counting like odd jobs, not counting like if you have your own garden at home or you're painting at home. In fact, you may have to rely on those. Who knows? But yeah, if it says go on a date, that might be one of the options that I put on there. Or if you're married, have a big argument with your significant other, get a divorce. Or if you're not married, like, situations like that. It's going to be something random, just throw it out of nowhere. It doesn't matter if her job's going well, her relationship's going well, whatever it may be. It's got to change that day. So it's like an everyday thing, something random happens. That I have to follow the rules for. So we'll see how it goes. But basically, I'm wanting it to where before she's an elder, the basic rules with this randomness happening every single day in her life, that you have to finish at least one aspiration. You have to max at least 3 level 10 skills of your choice. So if you want to go, you can go for the easy ones, which are like, to me, charisma, cooking. Those are 2 big ones that are really easy because those ones are ones that they use even if you're not trying to make them use them, but things like that. But I specifically said the level 10 ones because I didn't want to be like max at least 3 skills, and then if you're trying the challenge, or even if me, so I'm not tempted by it, going for like bowling or something where it's only a 5 level skill. So those don't count. If you want to add those in there, sure, go ahead. But I at least wanted it to be somewhat challenging. I also put in there that one of the rules is going to be that you can't let your water be turned off. So, if you play Sims, you have stages. If you haven't paid your bills, your electric gets turned off, and then your water gets turned off. If your electric gets turned off, I'm counting that as a warning. Hey, you better pay these bills, or you're going to fail the challenge. So you got to keep the water turned on, at least. You have a little bit of leeway I'm trying to say it the opposite. Leeway with the electric, but the water, can't let it be turned off. If you have to, sell furniture in your home. Now with the home, I am allowing to use free real estate to put your sim in whatever home. That's how I'm going to do it. I'm putting her in a decently small home, sort of, because in the long run, I feel like the bills are going to be ridiculous if I'm not careful. So you got to sort of go with that. Yeah, you might have more furniture to sell, but also your bills might be really expensive. But also, it's sort of like the thought of maybe trying to eventually work up to a bigger house, maybe? I don't know, because, you know, hopefully eventually she gets married. I don't know. Depends. We'll see. Whatever it throws at me. So yeah, but there's stuff like that, starting with the 20,000, which if you make one sim and create a sim without doing the whole, like, story thing where, like, you go through and answer the questions, I forgot what it's called right now, but, you know, if you go through that, sometimes that gives you more or less money compared to what you normally do. But if you go into plain create a sim and just outright create a sim, and you only have the one in your household, which is you're only supposed to start with one sim, it will automatically give you the 20, and as long as you use free real estate on, you don't have to pay for the house. So, as long as you use that cheat, which doesn't require mods or anything. So, I might edit or change the rules or add some more, but that's what I'm rolling with right now, and I'm gonna make a list of the random things that can happen. I don't know how big I'll make that list. I'll probably, like I said, I'm probably gonna use a dice for my method, so I'm probably at least gonna go with 20 so that I can use a d20. But if you try this challenge, you can do it however you want. But yeah, I want there at least to be some overlap, so maybe I end up quitting my job like 3 times. Who knows? I want some repetitiveness, because in some cases it could be funny or be challenging, like having to quit the job 3 times. But I also want there to be options as well. So we'll see. For now, I'm probably going to go for a baseline of 20. Yeah. But anyway, this is my sim. This is who I will be using this challenge for. I really didn't have a look I was going for her. I just sort of went with it and sort of played around with it, just seeing where I went with it, and should be including sort of all of her options for clothes. I'll probably eventually, over time, add multiple outfits to each, but right now she's just got one outfit in each category. Eventually I'll probably add more. But for now, this is what she looks like. Let me know your thoughts in the comments below on this lovely sim here. Are you looking forward to seeing this chaotic challenge that I'm deciding to try? And would you think about doing this yourself? Yeah, I would like to know. But once I get the for sure rule set, again, who knows, someone may have already have something like this out there, and if they do, let me know and I'll give them a shout out, credit, or whatever. I'm coming up with these rules for myself, so it might slightly differ. I haven't seen it out there anywhere, so yeah. Anyway, but yeah, if you want to try it, I'll have my set of rules for sure sort of figured out before the first episode, and I will go over those in the first episode. So keep an eye out for that. It will be taking over for the How Many Babies challenge. So once the How Many Babies challenge finishes, you should be seeing this challenge coming out to take its place. So yeah, anyway, thank you again so much for watching. I'll hopefully see you in the next one, but until then, bye bye!